Hello, I've gone live. I'll give it a second to whatever. Yesterday I mentioned shirts. This one's still good. I'll keep it for a while. I got it either yard sale or whatever. I'm going to do what I did yesterday with my cassettes. Let you know which one, what song is on it that choose. Yeah, fast. Words, man. Use your words. I will let you know what song. What am I writing on? Sorry, it's an extra large thing that I have. Some reasons it's just because I like the movie. The Adventures of Ford Fairlane soundtrack. The reason I got this was so I could hear I Ain't Got You as performed by Andrew Dice Clay. There are other songs on here. Cradle of Love, Sea Cruise. Cradle of Love was Billy Idol. I like that one too. Got tired of hearing it on the radio and watching the video for it on MTV. You know, when MTV played videos. I'm not going to do the year that was. It was when the movie came out, or slightly thereafter. Animal House, National Lampoon's Animal House soundtrack. Yes, these are cassettes. Don't they look weird? Could have been Louie Louie with John Belushi performing it. It could have been just because it's from the movie, the soundtrack to the movie, which I like. Airheads, what's his face? Brendan Fraser, Steve Buscemi, Adam Sandler. I think I got it just because it was the movie. This one I got because Angus. Soundtrack to the movie Angus. Am I Wrong? By Love Spit Love. I think that was why I got this. I mean, I like the movie. I wanted to hear the music outside the movie. Whew. Back to the Future soundtrack. (1985) copyrighted. So this is when the movie came out. You figure radio stations were overplaying "Power of Love." No, it's a power of love. Every 5 minutes, it seemed they were playing it. But I believe I got it because it was the soundtrack, and I wanted to hear the other songs, and because it said it was done, performed by Marty McFly and the Starlighters. I wanted to find out if it had who actually Marty McFly was, because, Back to School starring Rodney Dangerfield. I think it was because I wanted the version of him singing whatever song he sang. Or if it was on this soundtrack. I gotta get rid of those. Twist and Shout, performed by Rodney Dangerfield. Oingo Boingo's Dead Man's Party is also on here. So yeah, that was most likely why. Beverly Hills Cop, starring Eddie Murphy. Copyright 1984. Not sure if there really was a reason, except for the fact that it was for the movie. Fremont Lee here. Views and opinions expressed on this video are those of the person saying it. Hi, it's me, Fremont Lee. Beverly Hills Cop 2. I don't know. Featuring Corey Hart, James Ingram, Jermaine Jackson, The Jets, George Michael, Pebbles, The Pointer Sisters, Ready for the World, Bob Seger, Charlie Sexton, Sue Ann. I don't know. I think maybe it was because it was the movie. Benny and June, starring I am totally spacing on Captain Jack Sparrow's name. Johnny Depp. It certainly wasn't this. Buying this certainly wasn't for I'm going to be 500 miles. Although it could have been. Original motion picture soundtrack to Beavis and Butthead Do America. This was for the Red Hot Chili Peppers version of Love Roller Coaster. Isaac Hayes performing Two Cool Guys, theme from Beavis and Butthead Do America. There are other songs on here, but those are the main reasons I believe I got that. The Big Chill soundtrack. More songs from the original soundtrack. Excuse me. So this would be like part 2. I use your words. There are some songs on here for The Big Chill that were not that were not in the movie, but were their time. And the Big Chill original motion picture soundtrack. Kevin Dances with Wolves. Costner plays the friend in this movie that they go to the funeral for. You don't see him. The person who produced or directed, wrote the movie, whichever, who also did Silverado, wanted to give him, like, I'm sorry, I cut all your scenes where it shows your face. How about you do this movie? So they did Silverado. I think it was Lawrence Kasdan. I could be wrong, but there's usually a chance I am. But I'm fairly certain. Young Guns 2 soundtrack. Billy Get Your Guns, Blaze of Glory. Probably the only 2 reasons I can think of. I don't know if it was for Young Guns 2 or for Young Guns. They had wanted to use the cowboy song, whatever it was that John Bon Jovi, the group Bon Jovi did it. But he was like, no, that it's just not. So he ended up doing this, which, The Big Town, original motion picture soundtrack. Sorry for my Fever, Mac the Knife. Probably the reasons I did. The Big Town, starring Matt Dillon, Diane Lane, Tommy Lee Jones, Bruce Dern, Tom Skerritt, Lee Grant, Susie Amos. People. Nope. Had to tape it because it broke. You want the copyright? 1987. Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure. Be excellent to each other. Reason I got this was Play with Fire. That's not right. That's not right. Extreme, Play with Me. Copyright when the movie came out, 1989. Interesting story on that. I believe it was Play with Me by Extreme before they became famous with whatever song they did. My younger sister at a high school dance requested they play that, and they played it, and there were only two people on the dance floor, her and her friend, because they were kids, high school, whatever. They didn't care. It wasn't a sexual thing, but it was just the two girls out there dancing. Everybody else just kind of left the floor. I bet now they're like, oh yeah, that was a good one. All the people that got off the floor. Bill and Ted's Bogus Journey. I think it was The Reaper performed by Steve Vai. I'm not sure. If you've seen the movie, whatever. I will hope to get the one for their new one, not Pick of Destiny. Face the Music, I believe is what it's going to be called. Bordello of Blood, Tales from the Crypt. Let's see. Anthrax, Curb Dog, Free, Thin Lizzy, Sweet, Red Cross, Scorpions, Humble Pie, Cinderella, The Herd. 30 Days in the Hole, maybe, by Humble Pie. I don't know. Copyright when the movie came out. Which may be 1994. Because a lot of the ones they have, they're listed from the original copyright for the song. I'm thinking it was because this was the movie with Dennis Miller. The Breakfast Club soundtrack. Come on, it was the Breakfast Club soundtrack. Don't You Forget About Me by Simple Minds. Waiting by Elizabeth Daily. We Are Not Alone by Carla DeVito. Most likely those reasons. Caddyshack 2. If I could find the soundtrack to Caddyshack, I'd probably get that. But it's all right. I'm all right. Kenny Loggins there for that. All right, whatever. Heart of Glass, Money, That's What I Want. I don't know. I'm sure there's a reason I got it. The Commitments, original motion picture soundtrack on cassette. I do have it on CD. Copyright 1991. That's just the first row. My left leg's falling asleep from the ankle. Okay. Caddyshack soundtrack. I'm All Right. Performed by Kenny Loggins. It's like words and stuff. I just can't really think about it. A lot of the songs are performed by Kenny Loggins. Any Way You Want It, performed by Journey. China Beach, Music and Memories soundtrack to the television series. Copyright 1990. See Inside for Sequence. Song 1, Song 2, Song 2. I'm not sure. I wasn't big on watching the show, but for some reason, I wanted the soundtrack. Coming to America soundtrack. Oh, no, Coming to America by The System was most likely the reason why. I don't know. I think that was it. Music from the original motion picture soundtrack, Coneheads. I don't want to say Tainted Cell by Soft Cell. Tainted Cell. Tainted Love by Soft Cell. Because I have that on other things. I think, I don't know. I don't know. Brandon Lee, The Crow soundtrack. I miss him. He could have done a whole lot more. Accidents happen, and that's a terrible accident to have happened. It Can't Rain All the Time, I believe is why. By Jane Siberry. It's nothing like what's supposed to be him singing in the movie. Big Empty by Stone Temple Pilots may be also a reason. Diner, original motion picture soundtrack. Kevin Bacon. The other guys. Copyright 1982. Not Kevin Pollak. I think it was because the movie. And I can't think of anybody else in it. Dirty Dancing soundtrack. Most likely, I don't think it was I've Had the Time of My Life, but it could have been. She's Like the Wind, Hungry Eyes. Don't know. Dream a Little Dream soundtrack, starring the two Coreys, Haim and Feldman. That's Meredith Salinger in the middle. With dreams like these, who needs reality? It's like with friends like these, who needs an enema? Or enema song? Whatever. Let's Dream a Little Dream of Me, I believe is why. The duet with Mel Torme and Skippy. Mickey Thomas. That was close. Time Runs Wild by Danny Wilde. Into the Mystic by Van Morrison. I've Got Dreams to Remember by Otis Redding, which I believe those were the reasons why. Also, because I did like the movie. It was a little something, but speaking of a little, Dumb and Dumber soundtrack. Jim Carrey, Jeff Daniels. I do not know why I bought it. It may have been just because it was the movie. Eddie and the Cruisers soundtrack. Copyright Pie. 1983. It was Eddie and the Cruisers. Eddie and the Cruisers 2, Eddie Lives. Running Through the Fire. It was like wherever you went, you heard a lot of that on the radio anyway. But there were other things. Valerie. No, Virginia Madsen in Electric Dreams. I mean, the movie's called Electric Dreams. Stars Lenny Von Dolan, Virginia Madsen, excuse me, and Bud Cort. Bud Cort played Harold in the movie Harold and Maude. I believe he was also in the Steve whatever Life Aquatic, starring Bill Murray. Together in Electric Dreams by Giorgio Moroder with Philip Oakey, and Video by Jeff Lynne. Actually, there was pretty much most of them on there because it was from the movie. I've been wanting to send that to her to autograph, because her picture's right there. But I don't know if I'd ever get it back. Soundtrack to Empire Records. Not Umpire, Empire. E-M-P-I-E-R. I-I-R-E-R. E-M-P-I-R-E. I think I covered that before with the CD. Possibly. I don't think it was Till I Hear It From You by the Gin Blossoms, but it could have been. Coyote Shivers, Sugar High, that could have been it. The soundtrack to the movie FM. Because it was the soundtrack to the movie FM. You want the copyright date? Year? 1978. Electric Dreams was like 85. That's Empire Records. But I will check to be sure. 1984. Fame soundtrack from the movie, not the television show, the movie. Out Here on My Own, Hot Lunch Jam. I Sing the Body Electric. I sing the body electric. I sing more like I got my testicles in a friggin' vice. Forrest Gump soundtrack. A lot of oldies in this. So who knows? I think it was because it was the movie. Flashback, starring Dennis Hopper and Kiefer Sutherland. Kiefer Sutherland, wasn't he just in one of those other ones? I do not know. Free theme song from Flashback by Big Audio Dynamite. I don't know. I think that was it. Girls Just Wanna Have Fun soundtrack. You want the Flashback copyright day? Here. $19.90. I think it was because of the movie. Girls Just Want to Have Fun. Copyright 1982. I have no idea. I think it was because I had seen the movie. The Glenn Miller Story, starring Jimmy Stewart. This is copyrighted 1985. But I am very certain that the soundtrack to the Glenn Miller story is a lot older than 1985. Because if Jimmy Stewart was in it, he was. I want to say Harry Morgan is in this movie. I didn't check. Sorry. And Good Morning Vietnam, starring Robin Williams. I think that was pretty much why. That's the 2 rows. I'm not sure how long I've been, but I'm going to do birthdays now. I still have 3 rows to go, which I'll do tomorrow. Or day after tomorrow, because it's going on 25 minutes. This is June 20th. Words? Yes, this is June 20th. Anne Murray, singer. Tress MacNeille, voice actress. Miles O'Keefe, actor. He was in Tarzan something. I also want to say he was in the movie Big Man on Campus. Yeah. Lionel Richie, James Tolkien, who played Strickland in the Back to the Future movies. Nicole Kidman, John Goodman, producer Robert Rodriguez, Bonnie Bartlett, who was the mom of the Arnold and Danny DeVito characters in Twins. Brian Wilson from the Beach Boys. I'm going to fuck this up. Tom Lashiha from Game of Thrones. I'm not sure if the W is silent or if the L is silent. Quentin Rampage Jackson. Benny Urquidez. John Taylor from the music group Duran Duran. Oliver Cotton, who's done a lot of things. He does a voice in Hitman video game. He was also the killer in the movie Hiding Out from 1987, starring John Cryer. Chuck Wagner, who played Automan on television in 1983. Bob Vila, let's build this house together. And the late Errol Flynn, John Mahoney, the dad on Frasier, not to be confused with Brendan Fraser. Martin Landau, Danny Aiello, Audie Murphy, the way back actor, not Eddie Murphy, Audie, A-U-D-I-E, and director Terrence Young, who directed Dr. No in 1962. I believe he also directed a couple after that of the James Bond movies. I hope all is well with you. Things are going well. I'm good. Good things are good with me. I need my salad before I go to bed in a couple hours. I can't eat, I have food, I have a job, I have a place to live. I am blessed. I hope all is well where you have things you need to get by. There are more movie soundtracks in this, which may or may not be the reason I bought them. This last section is music groups, except for Jeff Foxworthy, Big Funny. The other day, I mentioned Lisa Whelchel, the thing. This is the cassette of. I had to find the. I think I got it because it was her, and I wanted to find out, what she was singing about. Stuff I taped from the radio, Dr. Demento Show. More music from the Dr. Demento Show. Do the Watusi. Cockroach That Ate Tijuana, The Scotsman. Ring ding did a little audio, ring da dilly audio. Anyway, but yeah, that's most of the thing. I have more. You figure this one and this one I've done. These three I have to cover stuff, which I can do at a later date. This is June 20th. I hope all is well with you. Thank you for watching. I hope you get to know me a little bit more, my musical taste. It's all over the charts. Eclectic mix is what the kids call it. Mostly it's classic rock and oldies. You figure with Airheads there and Bordello of Blood, you had metal, harder rock. The Big Town, I think, was oldies mostly. Glenn Miller Story, big band. The Crow was kind of, I don't want to say emo music. That doesn't sound right. Alternative, I think, was the thing they came up with. I don't know. Whatever. Music. It can be a painful reminder of times gone by. It can be just something to relax you. If you've ever seen the Goodbye, Farewell, All Men of the television series MASH, which was it was like the big movie to end the show. Major Winchester had that thing where he was teaching these guys to play Dolce, this music, this classical piece of music, and come to find out afterwards he doing that. One of the guys makes it back to the MASH unit to 4077, and he wasn't even a soldier. He was a musician. The guy ends up dying there, the character, not the actual. I mean, it'd be weird to film that, but he ends up passing right there. It really hits Emerson Charles deeply. He goes to the swamp, the tent, not an actual swamp, the tent, nicknamed the Swamp. Plays the music, plays the part of the music on his record, listens to it, and then he breaks the record. And later, not to be spoilers, but if you ever watch it, it's a good movie, TV movie. But he ends up saying music was, for the longest time, music was an escape for him. Now it will be a constant reminder. Which you got to draw the line on that somewhere, because you're in a place you don't want to be. The music helps you escape it, but once you get back to where you're going, or you were, now that music becomes the reminder of the pain. Thank you for watching, and just as a reminder, if anyone tells you you remind them of a warm summer's eve, you may have just been insulted. Hey, thanks for watching. It's June 20th. Views and opinions expressed in this video are those of the person saying it. Fremont Lee saying, "Have a good day or night."